Have you ever caught yourself wondering why some younger women seem drawn to older men, men who've lived, who've hurt, who've stumbled through life in ways you haven't yet? Maybe you scroll through Instagram, see the age gap, and think, what am I doing wrong? Or worse, am I not enough? Here's the truth most people won't tell you. It's not about money, power, or some fairy tale image of success. Younger women are looking for emotional depth, a kind of stability that only life experience can teach. And yes, it's scary because it hits us right where it hurts self-worth, confidence, our ability to connect. Younger women aren't just chasing older men, they're seeking men who have faced their fears, who know their failures, and who can hold a conversation without pretending to be perfect. They want authenticity, not bravado. They want someone who can make them feel seen, not just desired. And that's what most younger men haven't yet learned to give themselves or others. So if you've been struggling in dating, feeling lost, or questioning your value, don't see this as a rejection. See it as a roadmap, a challenge, a wake-up call to grow deeper, stronger, and more emotionally intelligent than you were yesterday. Because that's where the shift happens, not in chasing, not in impressing, but in evolving into the man worth waiting for. Emotional depth is something you feel before you see it. It's in the way someone listens without interrupting. It's in the way they can sit with discomfort, pain, or uncertainty and not run from it. Younger women are drawn to this, not because they're looking for someone perfect, but because they can sense when a man has truly lived, truly felt, and truly grown. Think about it. Most younger men are focused on external markers, muscles, style, career, or social status. Those things are visible, they're tangible. But emotional depth, that's invisible. That's the quiet confidence in a man who can admit when he's wrong. That's the calmness in a man who's faced his failures and hasn't let them define him. That's the ability to feel and express emotions without shame. And trust me, women can feel it immediately. Emotional depth is not something you're born with. It's forged through experience. Every heartbreak, every mistake, every time you've gotten back up after failing, every lesson you learned the hard way, that's what builds it. And here's the key. It's not about trying to impress anyone with those experiences. It's about owning them, accepting them, learning from them, and letting them shape the man you are today. When you have emotional depth, you stop playing games and you stop hiding behind bravado. You stop feeling like you need to prove your worth through material things or social validation. Because when you are emotionally grounded, your presence alone communicates value. It communicates safety. It communicates honesty. And those are exactly the qualities younger women crave when they're looking for someone to truly connect with. So ask yourself, do you have the courage to explore your own emotions, to sit with your pain, your fears, your insecurities, and truly understand them? Or are you masking them, hoping no one notices? Growth begins when you face yourself fully. Emotional depth is the first step in becoming the man who doesn't just chase love, but earns it through authenticity, resilience, and presence. Because here's the truth, a man who knows his heart, who understands his own emotions, and who can navigate life's highs and lows with honesty. That is a man who is impossible to ignore. Confidence is one of those things people talk about, but so few truly understand. Most younger men think confidence is about looking good, having the right clothes, or showing off a lifestyle. And while those things might get temporary attention, they don't create lasting attraction. Real confidence, the kind that draws people in, is deeper. It's quiet. It's rooted in knowing who you are, what you stand for, and what you won't compromise on. Younger women are drawn to this kind of confidence because it signals stability and self-assurance. They don't just want a man with a strong jawline or designer shoes. They want someone who can hold himself together when life gets messy, someone who can communicate openly without fear of judgment, and someone who doesn't rely on external validation to feel worthy. True confidence starts with self-awareness. Do you know your strengths, your weaknesses, your values, your boundaries? If not, that's where the work begins. It's easy to be overconfident when you're masking insecurity, but real confidence isn't loud or showy. It's calm. It's steady. It's knowing that you're enough, even when things aren't perfect. That kind of presence is magnetic because it makes others feel safe and seen around you. Another key piece of confidence is resilience. Life will knock you down. Relationships, careers, friendships, health, they all test you. A man who can face those challenges, who can fail and get back up without losing himself, radiates a kind of strength that's impossible to fake. And women notice. They don't need perfection. They need authenticity paired with courage. Finally, confidence is expressed through action, not words. It's in the way you listen more than you speak. It's in the choices you make when no one is watching. It's in the respect you give yourself and others. This is what separates men who are merely attractive from men who are genuinely irresistible. So ask yourself, are you chasing validation through looks, possessions, or attention? Or are you building a foundation of self-awareness, resilience, and integrity that will make you undeniably magnetic? Because when you invest in confidence that comes from the inside, everything else, including attraction, respect, and connection, naturally follows. When most men hear the word stability, they think of bank accounts, career titles, or material achievements. And yes, financial security is part of it, but stability goes much deeper than that. True stability is mental, emotional, and spiritual. It's the ability to remain grounded when life throws chaos your way. It's the inner calm that reassures those around you that you can handle life without losing yourself. Younger women are drawn to this kind of stability because it creates a sense of safety. Think about it, life is unpredictable, messy, and often overwhelming. They're looking for someone who can walk with them through uncertainty, someone who can provide strength without control, presence without pressure. A man who is emotionally and mentally stable doesn't just attract attention. He inspires trust. Stability comes from self-mastery. It's about understanding your triggers, owning your emotions, and knowing how to respond rather than react. It's about being consistent in your actions and words so people know where they stand with you. When you are stable, you're not swayed by every challenge, every rejection, or every unexpected turn. You remain anchored in who you are and what you value. Another part of stability is patience. It's the ability to see life as a process rather than a series of instant results. Younger women notice this in men who can wait, who can build something meaningful rather than rushing toward short-term gratification. Stability is also reflected in your choices, how you treat people, how you navigate your career, how you balance ambition with integrity. Every decision signals whether you are someone worth relying on or someone who is constantly drifting. Finally, stability is contagious. When a man is grounded, he lifts the energy of those around him. He can weather storms without fear or panic. He can listen and hold space without judgment. That presence is rare, and it's why many younger women feel drawn to older men who have had the time to cultivate it. So, the lesson here is clear: build stability inside yourself first. Work on your emotional resilience, your patience, your ability to stay anchored in life's chaos. Because when you do, you're not just a man who survives life. You're a man who becomes a safe haven. And that kind of depth, consistency, and reliability, that's magnetic, irresistible, and timeless. Authenticity is one of those qualities everyone says they value, but few truly practice. Most men spend their lives trying to fit molds, what society, friends, or even women expect them to be. We put on masks to impress, to appear confident, successful, or cool. And yes, sometimes it works for a little while. But lasting attraction, real connection, and true respect, those come from showing up as your real self, not some version you think others want. Younger women, especially, can sense authenticity immediately. They know when a man is genuine and when he's performing. It's not about flawless behavior or having everything figured out. It's about being honest about who you are, what you've been through, and what you're still learning. That honesty resonates far deeper than charm, looks, or material possessions ever could. Authenticity starts with self-awareness. You have to know yourself, your strengths, your flaws, your fears, and your desires. You have to confront the parts of yourself you've been hiding, the insecurities you've been masking. And then you must show up in life without pretending those parts don't exist. Vulnerability isn't weakness. It's the doorway to trust and intimacy. The more willing you are to be seen for who you truly are, the more magnetic you become. Another key part of authenticity is integrity. Your words, actions, and promises should align. Say what you mean what you say, and follow through. This consistency tells people they can trust you. It's a rare quality that often sets older men apart because they've learned through life that credibility and reliability are priceless. Finally, authenticity requires courage. It's scary to let down the mask, to risk rejection or criticism, to admit you're not perfect. But it's in that courage that true connection is born. A man who is unapologetically himself creates space for others to do the same. That's magnetic. That's the kind of presence younger women notice and are drawn to. So the lesson is simple but profound. Stop performing. Stop trying to be what you think others want. Start being the man you actually are, flaws, fears, victories, and all. Because when you embrace authenticity, you don't just attract attention, you attract respect, trust, and real connection. And that is far more powerful than any superficial charm ever could be. Patience is one of the most underrated qualities a man can develop. And yet, it's often the difference between fleeting attraction and lasting connection. In a world obsessed with instant gratification, younger men are taught to hustle, to chase, to get results now. But relationships, emotional depth, and meaningful connection don't work on a timeline. They require patience and the wisdom to understand that timing matters more than force. Younger women are drawn to men who embody this kind of patience. They notice when a man isn't rushing, when he's willing to let things unfold naturally instead of trying to control the outcome. This isn't passivity, it's presence. It's knowing that love, respect, and trust take time to build, and that the value of a connection grows when it's nurtured thoughtfully. Patience also reflects emotional maturity. It shows that a man can regulate his impulses, handle frustration, and stay grounded when life doesn't go his way. Women sense when a man is reactive or desperate, and it's unattractive. But when a man demonstrates patience, it communicates stability, confidence, and a deep respect for the process of life and love. Timing is equally critical. Too often, younger men overlook the importance of life circumstances, emotional readiness, and mutual growth. A man who understands timing doesn't force connections. He creates space for them to develop authentically. He knows that trying to rush intimacy, trust, or commitment often backfires. Instead, he focuses on becoming the man who is ready for the right connection, trusting that when the time is right, the relationship will flourish naturally. Patience also requires self-control and self-investment. It's not just waiting. It's using the waiting period to grow, to improve, and to deepen your emotional intelligence. A man who invests in himself while respecting the pace of life becomes magnetic. Not because he chases, but because he demonstrates self-respect, discipline, and purpose. So the lesson is clear: slow down, stop forcing outcomes. Stop trying to impress or control. Focus on your growth, understand the natural flow of relationships, and trust that meaningful connections unfold in their own time. When you cultivate patience and respect timing, you don't just attract younger women, you attract women who are genuinely aligned with you, who value the depth, consistency, and emotional wisdom you bring. At the end of the day, age isn't what attracts younger women. It's the energy, presence, and emotional maturity a man carries. The truth is, the qualities that make older men appealing, depth, patience, authenticity, stability, are not exclusive to age. They can be cultivated by any man willing to do the work. The question is, are you willing to become the man who is truly worth waiting for? Becoming that man starts with self-investment. It's about building your mind, your body, and your emotional intelligence, not to impress anyone, but to honor yourself. Women, younger or not, are drawn to men who value themselves. When you prioritize growth, purpose, and integrity, you radiate a confidence that doesn't need validation. It simply exists quietly, powerfully, naturally. Next comes emotional mastery. The man worth waiting for is a man who has learned to navigate his fears, insecurities, and past wounds. He doesn't hide from discomfort. He leans into it, learns from it, and lets it shape him without breaking him. He can love fully, communicate openly, and hold space for others without losing himself. That emotional depth creates a magnetic pull that no surface level charm can replicate. Patience and timing, which we discussed earlier, are also essential. This isn't about chasing, begging, or rushing. It's about understanding that meaningful connections unfold in their own rhythm. A man who invests in himself while allowing relationships to develop naturally demonstrates a level of self, respect, and foresight that younger men often lack, and that women instinctively notice. Finally, being worth waiting for means showing up authentically every single day. It means aligning your actions with your values, speaking with integrity, and living a life that reflects the man you aspire to be. It's about creating a presence so strong and grounded that people naturally gravitate toward you, not because you demand attention, but because you emit value, consistency, and reliability. The reality is this: there is no shortcut to becoming the man who inspires respect, trust, and genuine connection. But every step you take toward growth, every lesson you embrace, every moment you invest in self-awareness brings you closer. When you commit to becoming that man, you stop chasing validation and start living as someone who others, especially younger women seeking depth, can't help but admire. Be the man worth waiting for, and the right connection will not just appear. It will choose you.